hypocritic. Is that a word? Hypocritical Christians, hypocristians, if you will. They're assholes. And the thing I'd like to tell you is that hypocritical, mean, unhelpful atheists are assholes as well. And what I'd like to do is I'd like to invite you to join me in calling our own people on their own shit.
Right.
Because it's a little, if I tell you, hey, you guys are mean, that doesn't, it's like, well, yeah, you're stupid, you know, and so we go back and forth. But if I tell my own people, hey, you need to actually stop and be a good person and try to make the world a better place. And you do the same with the atheists, and maybe we look for grounds where we agree on, like, you know, loving your enemies and stuff like that.
And feeding people
and stuff like that. I think that we can all get along, and I think that's actually what Jesus did when he told the story, because the Samaritans were actually heretics. They weren't, you know, nasty people. They were actually heretics who didn't believe in the right God, according to the Jewish people. So when he told that story, it was, you know, now you guys are obviously worse because you don't believe in any God.
Right,
but,
we're pretty bad.
But see, I guess what I would like to encourage everybody that would be your audience is to get to a place in your life where with true conviction and compassion you can tell the story of the good Christian. And I'll keep telling the story of the good atheist and the good Muslim and the good Hindu and the good Buddhist. And maybe someday we can get to a place where this world is actually what it's meant to be. A place where there's no war and there's no hunger and there's no starvation, there's no violence, and hopefully no cops.
Yeah. I always say, you know, I'd rather draw a line between people that are being good to each other and good for the world rather than drawing lines between our religious differences. And the flack that I get from some atheists, and the flack that I've even gotten on your behalf when I mentioned that I have a Christian brother and that we get along, I've had Christians say, well, then he's not a real Christian.
Right.
He's not a real Christian for saying that I'm moral or saying, you know. So the thing that I get from atheists is, from some atheists, I should say, the louder ones, unfortunately, oftentimes, is that good Christians like yourself, that are caring about the environment, that aren't horribly judgmental to us, that aren't, you know, obsessed with us being hellbound all the time, is that you're not morally consistent, and that the ones who are jerks are actually more morally consistent with the book that they're holding.
Yeah, I think they haven't studied the book.
Yeah.
Because Jesus gets in trouble with the religious people all the time for not being morally consistent.
Right.
So if I'm supposed to be following Jesus, then I think that I should be a good person. It's about humanity. Rather than following a set of rules, you know.
Well, some of these people are really well studied, but maybe with a bias. Will you be active in our comment section on this?
I can be, sure. Yeah. People have questions and, you know, or accusations or whatever.
Right.
You know, I can take them through.
So, and this is my brother, who I love very much, and I would like everybody who does comment to be good examples of, you know, people that are capable of civil discourse.
Yeah. And if not, it's okay. But it just makes it a lot more in line with our discussion if you were sweet.
And let me go ahead and start it. Here's, I think, a really good question that a lot of atheists have for Christians, which is, if you love Jesus so much, why don't you marry him?
Well, see, the Bible actually says that the church is the bride of Christ, and we're just waiting for him to get back so we can do the wedding ceremony.
Isn't that illegal in California now?
We're trying to overturn. Oh wait, no. Sometimes I get confused.
So, I really like the point of that message, because it is. I get a lot of comments and stuff from people who are atheists and are very passionate about not liking Christians, or Christians are stupid, or Christians are jerks. And I happen to know a lot of very intelligent Christians, and I happen to know a lot of Christians who are wonderful people who have the same kind of, you know, moral drive that I do. And then I talk to a lot of my Christian friends who are like, why are atheists so obnoxious, so pugnacious? And I don't find that true. Someone that operates within the atheist community, I find a lot of sweet, wonderful people.
Yeah.
But then I look on the internet and I realize that some of the more obnoxious, fighty people are the ones that are getting the most hits and the most attention.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and it's always true, right? I mean, Fred Phelps, the Reverend Phelps, has a church of 38 people or something like that, and most of them are his relatives, direct relatives.
Kids and grandkids.
So, I mean, what other church of 38 people that most of the people are related to is internationally known and getting covered on news agencies and stuff like that? Well, the guy's a jerk, so everyone is going to follow that, it's going to look at that, you know, where I've got a small church here, and we're actually trying to help people, feed people that are hungry, help people get jobs, those kind of things, and no one's paying attention to us because it doesn't sell newspapers.
It's kind of boring.
It is kind of boring. Life's kind of boring sometimes, you know, but we're just trying to live it well. And I think that's what we would be called to do, whether we believe in Jesus like I do with all my heart, or whether we believe that we're going to be worm food someday. You still have a social, evolutionary mandate to make the world a better place, I think.
And I don't think that we have time to go into this one right here, but one question I think a lot of people have that I would love to see tackled in the comment section, if that's cool, is how do you deal with, and how do you answer to whether or not the atheists that you are friends with or the non-Christian people that you're friends with are going to hell or not?
Yeah.
And I know that's a big one. But that's somewhere where I see you having a different view than a lot of Christians that I know, and even a lot of atheists would find your view difficult to draw from the Bible. Can we talk about that a bit in the comment section?
Yeah, we can. It's you know, my view's not set in stone. My view's changed a lot over the years, but I think part of it is we don't see the context in which Jesus is speaking. I think part of it is that we have this natural tendency to want the people that we disagree with to be somehow punished, and stuff like that. And I do believe that Jesus is the way and the truth and the life, and I believe that that the idea of heaven and that is meant for everybody. But I think that a lot of the comments in the Bible that we hear preached on all the time back up a view that our enemies get crushed and sent burning in hell, screaming, all that kind of stuff like that, which is good for heavy metal music, but not so good for actually hanging out with your neighbors, you know. But I think that a lot of verses in the Bible say some pretty contrary things to that. One verse in particular says that Jesus is the Savior of all men, especially those who are saved. So it makes a differentiation.
Especially, that's interesting.
You know, so, but you don't hear that being preached because, you know, it doesn't scare people into line, you know.
Yeah. All right, Andy, so this is your chance to talk to a Christian, and a nice and well-educated one as well. So, thanks, John.
It was my pleasure.
Cool.
Isn't that over 10 minutes?
Yeah, I'm going to edit it. I'm going to cut out all the parts where you talk.
Oh, okay.
You didn't say anything about buying my CD.
Buy Keith's CD. It's very important, and if you do, I think that God will have favor on you.
Excellent.